Welcome to Lost Love Mystery, where every story unravels a secret. So, let's dive into another story. I, 27M, found out about 2 weeks ago that my GF, 25F, had been cheating on me for a year. For context, we met about 2.5 years ago in university, although we were only together for a short time before she had to go back to her home country for work. We've been long distance since, although we've both made the effort to see each other every few months for a sustained period of time, 1 week to over a month. During this time, I've been supporting her, helping her with her work if I could, sending her gifts and money on special occasions or when she accomplished something, or just generally comforting her when she felt depressed. She herself admitted to being emotional and easily gets sad. She called me 2 weeks ago saying that she'd been having an affair with her married boss, 33M, for a year. When I asked why, she just said she was attracted to him at the time and found that they were really compatible in bed. We have met up several times since this started, and I did notice she became increasingly cold towards me at the start. I confronted her about this, and she excused herself saying she was just busy with work and that we needed a better way of communicating. However, whenever I suggested taking a break or blocking her to signal that I needed her to put more effort into the relationship, she would always beg me not to and kept apologizing, only to keep doing the same after. When we met up, I noticed that our sex life was a lot worse than before, with her not putting in any effort or enthusiasm. Around the end of last year, I went to visit her for a month. During this time, she said that she tried to control herself, but after a few days she would tell me she was busy with work and go to his hotel before coming back to ours. After the first 2 weeks, she got into an argument with him as he pressured her to choose between us, and she said she chose me. This was after I took her out for a nice dinner, and she suddenly told me on the way back that she had work at her office. She says she can't remember if she had sex that night. After this argument, she had to go on a short business trip, where she decided to have a last goodbye with him while I was waiting for her in another city. They stopped seeing each other after, but after a month we broke up after an argument. I was pretty down for the next couple of months, but during this time she started slowly warming up to me again. She'd send me photos of places we'd been to before, and we'd talk about our daily life like before. Unbeknownst to me, she had resumed her affair about a month before. For added context, she had also seen another guy her friend introduced her to during this time. I thought we were finally back together when she asked about a potential trip together in a few months' time. She also called me, saying that she discovered an STD during a routine checkup, which she now thinks is from the guy her friend introduced. It turns out that her boss originally discovered it, and she went for her own checkup after. When we called, she kept crying to me, asking if I thought she was dirty and saying that she had let her parents down, and I spent the whole night comforting her. At the time, I assumed it was from an ex, or that she had seen someone when we were apart, which I was okay with. After that call, I assumed that we were really back together as she mentioned how this may affect us having sex in the future. However, she would continue seeing her boss, going out for dinner or movies even if they couldn't do anything. About 2 months ago, her boss tested negative, and her doctor notified her that her disease was getting better, after which she immediately tried having sex with him only to stop as it began to hurt. A week later, another doctor told her she may need surgery and arranged for a checkup. She called me immediately after finding out about this, crying and asking me to fly over. I put several work projects on hold to see her during this time and arranged to meet her a week after at her checkup. However, she continued giving her boss head during this week, and when we were together after she refused to touch me as she was afraid I may have passed it on to her. I was a virgin before we met. She told me that she stopped seeing her boss after we met up again, but whether this was due to self-control or lack of opportunity one have no idea. About 2 weeks ago, her checkup results came back, and they discovered a bacteria in her stomach that they believed could have been from oral sex. It couldn't have been me during this time, so she immediately called him and they argued about this, leading to his wife overhearing and finding out. She then threatened to tell their company unless he gave her his savings and made him tell his parents. After this, he was furious and went to see my ex, snatching her phone and getting her parents' contacts. He then made her choose between telling her parents or telling me, which resulted in that phone call where she confessed everything. We agreed to meet up last week to discuss everything in person. I was prepared to forgive her if I thought she was sincere and had finally chosen me, But when we spoke, I couldn't really feel any remorse, and it didn't seem like she wanted to try again. The worst part was the trip we had planned when we were getting back together was supposed to be last week, and I ended up going alone. I still have a lot of unresolved issues about this, especially as she doesn't want me sharing this with my friends. Similar industry where word spreads quickly. I ended up texting her a few times during the trip, essentially either scolding or apologizing for scolding her. We called again last night, where she said she didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore, and agreeing to pay me back a small portion of what I've been giving her since her affair started. TLDR. Found out my ex was cheating for a year with her boss, and she doesn't show any regret about it. Thanks for watching Lost Love Mystery. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more hidden truths.